I think he's got it.
Okay.
Dave, could I suggest that they move the laptop closer? There's, I think, a lot of garbling. I don't know if Sarah and Carly and Lauren are hearing that too.
Everybody was talking.
Everybody was talking, that's why. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
that sounds pretty bad.
Yeah, everybody was talking. Good morning and welcome to the end of June primary day today. So don't forget to vote. With that, I'll open up the meeting and I'll ask if everyone has had a chance to review the May 31st, 2022 minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion's carried. We'll get right to Michael here with the President CEO report, with the Treasury report.
Good morning.
Morning, Michael.
Thank you very much. We have some personnel news this morning. We're like to welcome Jessica Gabriel, who's there with you in person, our new senior economic developer. Jessica comes to us with a stellar background and career experience, having worked for the City of Albany Economic Development Office, the New York State Office of Community Renewal, served for 2.5 years as the Regional Director for Empire State Development, and then as a Assistant Deputy Commissioner at OGS. She lives in Valatia, and she has incredible experience and has been with us now. She reminds me, I thought it was a week, but it's been 2 weeks and 2 days. But she's been very helpful already, but one of her principal tasks is to direct the Columbia Forward program, which the county has approved, and Chairman Morrell released a press release earlier this week, which is the program which is in partnership with the Columbia County Chamber of Commerce to be able to assist not only the towns in the city of Hudson and their respective economic development committees, but also individual businesses throughout the county. And that program, as you know, comes with a $150,000 a year for 3 years, with CEDC picking up about $87,000 of that money, with the chamber receiving $62,500 for staffing. The program also includes an additional $50,000 for CEDC to use to provide grants of 10% of the amount borrowed up to $500,000. So if you borrowed $15,000 for 5 years at 3.75%, your payment would be $275, but you would also at closing receive a $1,500 grant. You could use that to repay your interest over time, or you could use it to further jumpstart your business. The contemplated that the loans would also have a $20,000 7-year product at 3.75% and a 10-year $25,000 product. And the payments on both of those, the $20,000 and the $25,000 loans, is also $275 a month. So, we structured the program so that whether you were borrowing money for 5, 7, or 10 years, your payment would be $275 to $280 a month, so that we are hopeful that that will enable businesses not to be overwhelmed by additional debt, but at the same time get an important surge of cash at a time when they need it. Jessica and Martha and I have met with the chamber now several times. We have a meeting scheduled in another week, and we've had several initial meetings with economic development committees from the towns. We met with the village of Kinderhook. We met with the town of New Lebanon. We have a meeting with the town of Hillsdale coming up. Obviously, we're kind of doing a soft opening with those towns, and we're finding that not only is there community development money that some of the town economic development committees are looking to access, but also the chamber working with us to help businesses apply for state grants under the governor's Regional Economic Development Council program. So we're very excited to have Jessica on board. We also have talked about her involvement with both the City of Hudson IDA and the Columbia County IDA, because when she was with the City of Albany Economic Development Office, she was the principal staff person for the City of Albany's Industrial Development Agency. And also, as you know, we now are up to 5 loans, or 5 grants, if you will, from the Office of Community Renewal, where the county has been the applicant for 4 of them and the City of Hudson for 1 of them. It's the Hudson Valley Creamery, it's Clock Estates, it's Return Brewery, and now we have just received notice this week that the county was successful. This loan program requires that the municipality be the applicant, and then the municipality or the county contracts with CEDC to be the grant administrator. But we're very excited that on behalf of the county, in December, we submitted an application for $250,000 for the Kleinkill Farm to assist them with upgrading migrant farm worker housing. And the county's been awarded a $250,000 absolute grant that will flow through CEDC and to the farm to improve their housing. This is a $25 million program statewide, and we had marketed it both through the Board of Supervisors and through Hudson Valley Agribusiness Development and our list and the New York Farmers Bureau, Farm Bureau, which we're a member of. And we only had the 1 applicant, but we're very excited about this. And these Office of Community Development grants entitle us to up to a $15,000 fee on each of them. And we do have to demonstrate the time and hours that are devoted by staff to each project individually. But I'm budgeting as if we're going to get at least $7,500 per project. So with Jessica on board and having her been involved in that program when she worked at the Office of Community Renewal, I'm much more comfortable that we'll be able not only to do more of these projects, but be able to administer them in a way that doesn't make us at risk. That it's very complicated and technical process, both for the end recipient developer and reporting on behalf of the county. So we're very excited about that grant, and we're very excited to have Jessica here. And she's also been helping with the CFA applications, having ran the CFA program at her time at Empire State Development. We have some other news. It's a little disappointing for us, but we're very, very happy for Lauren. Lauren notified Martha and I late yesterday that after being with us for a year and a half, she has found a job that fits much more with her background and experience, and also is a for-profit business, which certainly reflects in our ability to meet salary requirements. We've been very, very happy, Lauren, to have you with us. As I told you earlier this morning, you brought a level of experience and professionalism to the office that helped round out what we were already doing, and particularly helping and picking up very quickly the loan processing and underwriting process. And we're certainly going to miss you, but we know you're going to be nearby, and we know you're part of our extended family, and we wish you well, and offer you a chance to say a few words to the board.
Thank you so much, Mike. And, to the whole board, I've learned more here and from all of you than you will ever know. As Mike alluded, I really kind of had no idea about a bunch of this stuff when I arrived. And I've grown as a person, professionally and personally as well. And working day to day with Martha was kind of like a gift from above. And with the support of Mike and Lisa and Kat, this has been an outstanding experience for me. So I can't say enough about the team and my time here. But sort of the time is right, and other things in life kind of brought this to kind of where I am now. So.
Well, again, we want to thank you very much. I mean, it has been a tumultuous time during COVID to be doing all of this. And, as I said earlier, there was never a time when we asked that you help us pick something up that no one else was working on, and that wasn't in direct line of the work you were here to do. But you were always very gracious and helpful, and it was most appreciated. And I know we're really going to miss you.
Likewise. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Laura.
and Birch is going to miss it. We're gonna.
I know. Birch is next to me in a little bouncy chair. Yeah, he'll miss
Yes.
this too.
Well, I'll take the moment to I wasn't, but I'm going to share. On Sunday night at 6 o'clock, my middle daughter had a little girl, Charlotte K. Spiro. So we now have 5 grandchildren in 6 years. So Lauren, we know what you're. It's a great time for you as well as for your family. So we've been working very, very engaged with the City of Hudson IDA. They have identified a desire to have a template that would be more of a rubric in terms of determining the level of economic development incentives that they provide projects, and they're looking at dividing those criteria out into housing, commercial, hotel, industrial. And I think that we've done some economic modeling for them in an effort to try to get them to understand how many dollars are left on the table when you modify the incentive matrix to the point where a developer is going to walk away or not move forward with the project. And instead of looking at it that way, how do you develop this metric to incentivize developers to move forward, realizing that the community is attempting to incentivize developers to do the types of projects they feel the community's looking for or is reflective of the community. It's a good exercise, and we are also pleased to report that we were instrumental in getting the City of Hudson IDA to approve and close on a new project at the Town and Country Market down on Dock Street. It's a $7.5 million project where they're going to gut the existing facility and double its size and do a food processing business. That closed last Friday, and the City of Hudson will receive a $75,000 fee, and pursuant to our revised agreement, we'll pick up a $7,500 fee as well on top of our base fee for providing administrative services. I'm also pleased to report that there have been ongoing discussions between our office, the town of Greenport, Redburn Development, and the town assessor and the town planning board. And it appears that the 150 unit housing project, workforce housing in Greenport, is back on track. There had been some initial concerns that based on initial valuation and potential assessed value that it might trigger other state laws that would make the project economically unfeasible. So we're very excited that that is moving forward for the county IDA. And we're also very pleased to report and want to thank Andy Howard for his persistence over 5 years in working with us to assist John Frischkoff and Clock Estates. They closed on their financing with Farm Credit also last week, and they have paid a $70,000 fee to the IDA, and that project is closed and up and running. I think it again we are looking at what level of there's a couple of firms that provide outsourced services to organizations like ours in administering some of the reporting requirements, both with labor and job retention and sales tax expenditures that we're looking into engaging with. We would certainly bring any proposed contract to the board, and it would be something that the cost would be passed on to the project sponsor and developer. But we are starting to see projects that have been in pipeline for a short period of time or a long period of time come to fruition. We are really beginning the focus on Columbia Forward. It's a great program. We're starting through this soft opening, realizing that we're going to have to create some operational efficiencies so that each meeting isn't de novo. That if we have 18 towns and 4 villages in a city, that we're able to provide guidance and direction in a way that's not self-service, but at least there's a packaged product, or I think we've begun to realize we'll just become the extended staff of these organizations in these communities. And the intent here is to leverage opportunities for them, not to undertake projects or work. So if they want to do a traffic study, we can get them in touch with DOT, but they have to be able to put some resources into these efforts to there's just not enough staff time, but there's a lot of synergies where people are looking for the same support and the same concierge and information. Mr. Chairman, I know there's a lot of other things on the agenda, and I think you can tell there's a lot going on, and we will be in the process of working with Martha to post Lauren's position and continue to move forward with building our loan program. Are there any questions specifically about operations? Otherwise, I can go into the financial report.
No, I think we're set, Mike. Thank you.
Thank you. On the balance sheet, our total assets are up $149,000. That's primarily the additional funds we received from the SBA this year for the loan program. We did close a CD account at Berkshire Bank, and we look to open up some additional banking relationship there. But we did need to get the funds in position for the purchase of the property that the county has asked us to purchase, which the board approved last month on Route 9H, just south of Kozel and just north of the entrance to the Commerce Park. It's $224,000. Again, Andy's been working with us on that, and I failed to mention that we were also successful in closing on the sale of Lot 8 in the Commerce Park for the county last month to Richard Blass, who has a construction company in Ghent, and he's going to use that site to build a shop, an office, and a lay down yard for his construction business. On the income statement, Kat and I have been working with CFO for Hire, which is the firm that we retained at the suggestion of UHY. They didn't necessarily recommend that firm, but they had recommended that we get someone who can give us guidance on operations so that they retain the independence of their audit function as they grow and as we grow. But year to date through May, we had $363,000 in revenue versus a budget of $344,000, so we're up about $19,000. Our expenses were $3,000 below budget, which gives us we're still a negative $6,000. Some of that is timing based on the fact that we still have some budgeted line items that we divided by 12 rather than adjusted for actual the experience of paying. But we were projected to be at a negative $28,000 at this point. And primarily because we had pushed out on our administrative revenue fee, some of the anticipated fees that we would receive from the Hudson IDA and from the Office of Community Renewal Grants. In terms of where we are over budget on expenses, significantly on new initiatives, where $15,000 of that was related to broadband that we hadn't budgeted for, and the contribution to the career program with the college, we divided it by 12, so it wasn't in it, but it was paid all up front. Our office expenses, we've looked at carefully. We're significantly over budget there. That includes dues and subscriptions and sponsorships. And again, it's a timing issue. And we're going to, when we get to the end of June, we'll do a 6-month review and give you more detail on that. Obviously, our professional fees are also up $11,000 because you'll remember after we did the budget in the fall, UHY insisted that based on the amount of state and, the amount of federal grants we received, that they had to do what they called a single audit, which added $7,000 to the audit fee. So we're under budget, running on net income by $22,000, but again, I think we're in reasonably good shape. And when we get through this month and we take a closer look at some of the fees that we had not budgeted for, and certainly the additional money from the county, which has not been budgeted for, I think we'll do a recast and revise the budget going forward and reconcile it to the financials for the first 6 months. But I think we're in pretty good shape, especially knowing that these other funds are coming. I think I've said before, I've looked at the Columbia Forward program, where we're basically going to get $87,000 a year for the next 3 years as PPP 3, 4, and 5. So we had received $63,000 to $70,000 in PPP 1 and 2, and it will enable us to continue to move forward. And we're conservative in not budgeting for those expenses or that income and the resulting expenses prior to having it approved by the county. Are there any questions on the financials?
Like, what are the direct program expenses?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman.
The actual is way under the budget.
On which office? Our total expenses are $369, and we budgeted $372. So overall, it's in this office expense line. And again, there's about $18,000 of membership dues, Pattern for Progress, CEG, various other organizations. We do have a finance committee meeting in July at the end of the quarter, and I will bring detailed variance and budget to that meeting, and again reconcile it to where we are going forward with the additional revenue and the associated expenses.
Any other questions?
How difficult would it be to apply last year's numbers to a sheet like this?
Is that a request that we put add a column for last year's numbers as a comparison?
Just a personal thing like this. If possible. Would it be possible, Mike?
Is it the question that you'd like us to do run a report that shows a comparison to last year?
Yeah, so on this compared to budget and last year.
Yep, we can do that. And who was asking that? I can't see you.
Rick Rucker.
Okay, I will get that. And again, we go into a little more detail with the, we've condensed this for the purpose of the board, but it's certainly the 4-page line item balance sheet and P&L and general, and even the general ledger is available to all board members, but we do go through that in more detail at the finance committee meeting.
Thanks.
Motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Motion and a second on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? It's carried. Thank you, Mike, very much.
Thank you.
The Audit and Finance Committee did not meet, so no report. Executive Committee did meet. We briefly just discussed the strategic plan. Do you have anything on that, Mike? You're muted. There you go.
Yes, on the strategic plan, Jessica and I have discussed it, and our plan, as we reported to the executive committee, was to revisit where we are, look at the new programs that have arisen since we started the strategic planning process pre-COVID. And as I think we all recall, it was all but impossible to have a strategic discussion in this format. And then in September, we would have a board session, and that we felt that with we would engage Mary Ellen to do the facilitation, but we could be in a position to conclude the updated strategic plan by the end of September or early October. Jessica, did you want to just weigh in on that?
No, I think that's great. I think we're really putting together some material for that session with Marianne and starting to prep for that, so that you'll see sort of, I think, a good list of all the activities that have happened. So you can start to say, okay, where do we want to go from there?
I think also, your philosophy of keeping it simple was useful. I think if you, as you had indicated, if you have between pillars, goals, objectives, and tactics, 45 things, you're not going to have any ability to do any of them. You'll lose your focus.
Thank you. The next item is MC Fiber Services contract. MC Fiber is the company that we contracted with to keep an eye on and do our broadband study. And they're looking for a renewal. I think what we didn't want to renew their contract. We wanted to put them on retainer. Am I right?
Right. They've finished up. They're in the process of completing the phase 2 contract. As you recall, the first phase was a $30,000 contract to do the field work and reporting that they presented to us last August. They've had a phase 2 contract for $30,000, both of which are reimbursed by the county. And that contract is up at the end of this month. They had given us a proposal to extend it. When we met with the executive committee, my concern was that we're kind of in limbo right now on broadband because the state is in the process. The interim broadband director has resigned. The governor is in the process of rebuilding that office using the funding that was in the state budget, so that the state will be in a position to spend the federal monies that are identified to be floating down. We're waiting for the federal government to issue the regulations as to how these funds will be distributed and allocated. And so really, to sign up for what they were proposing was simply kind of a monitoring or, keep the temperature. And I think we can do that. What I recommended to the executive committee was that instead of renewing a contract for 30 grand for phase 3, that we put them on $1,000 a month retainer with the idea that when the broadband money at the federal and state level begins to flow, we'll be in a position to know what services we need from them, as opposed to having some kind of a wide open $30,000 contract now. I had recommended 6 months. The executive committee suggested we do that for 3 months and reevaluate it. And so the plan is to enter into a contract with them July 1 for 3 months at $1,000 a month, with the intent of entering into a more expanded contract when we have the ability to define the scope of work. And that was approved by the executive committee and is presented today, Mr. Chairman, for the full board's approval.
I'm entertain a motion to renew the contract for $1,000 a month. Rick, second from Rick. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carried, thank you. Moving on to governance and nominating. Well, I'm jumping ahead of myself. I had mentioned the other day inactive board members. We have a few board members that aren't too active. So I'd ask them all, if you know anyone that like to be on the board, would contribute to the board, would come to the meetings, would be a good active member, please let Sarah know. Sarah chairs that committee, and let Sarah know your thoughts. See if we can step ourselves up a bit.
Mr. Chairman, I had sent to you earlier this week a letter that I received over the weekend from Michael Hockman from CMH. He was the facilities director at Columbia Memorial. He's resigned that position to take another position out of the county. So he has resigned from our board. He was at our first meeting. He was a great asset. And I believe you and I have discussed either having you speak with Jay or following up with Tish on identifying another potential board member for interview from the Columbia Memorial Health System.
Yeah, the hospital's the county's largest employer. We should have somebody on the board from there.
Dave, do you have any idea of like a number that we should be looking at? Just
We have
ballpark of potential candidates we may need. Two vacancies now.
2 or 3. Two. Okay. All right. You have somebody in mind?
I do. I'm going to see him tomorrow.
Okay, good. So, because we do. I mean, we're like, what are we? 17 members of the board. Without the
17, yes.
17, and every meeting was scrambled. There's 9 here today, and 9's quorum. So we just made it, and we got what looks like a full house, but we only just made it.
I got a really big table.
All right, governance and nominating did not meet, but the loan committee did, and I'll turn it over to Martha.
Thank you, Dave. We went through the loan portfolio in great detail at the loan committee last week, so this is just a brief update. As of today, there are 2 clients who have not yet made their May payments. They are Quality Q Holdings and Old Clobber Brewery, and we've been in touch with both of those clients. And I'm happy to take any questions about the portfolio. That's it. Sure.
Doesn't have to do with the portfolio, but as the Fed continues to raise interest rates, are you seeing any slowing in the pace of applications?
Well, our rate has not increased, and in fact, we're offering 3.75 right now, so we expect.
So you will see an uptick perhaps.
Exactly, and we're offering that small grant, which is capped at $2,500, but certainly that is appealing to small business owners. So we have quite a few loans in the pipeline.
And somebody's going to discuss one right now, right?
Well,
Mary?
shall we address the portfolio first? I think we
We'll
should.
take a vote. Yes, I need an
I'll make a motion.
second. Jim, all in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried. Thank you for reminding me.
Certainly. Okay, we do have one loan request this month, and this was approved by the loan committee to be brought before the full board. The client is Mario's Home Center. I think most of us are familiar with that business in Galatia. They are purchasing a racking system, which they will install at their own expense. We have an invoice for approximately $73,000, and that's the amount they're requesting. We do have a history with this client. In 2008, they received a 10-year loan, $100,000 from CEDC, and they paid it off without any issues at all. The owner has excellent personal credit, and they're looking for a 5-year note at 5%.
Discussion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, and Martha, part of Martha and my thought process here was, we did receive back the $200,000 that we had loaned to Hudson Development Corporation after their successful sale of the CAS property. And, we were getting 5% on that money. And so we were making 10 grand a year on it. And, we have discussed using some of the county funds in a way to assist existing businesses with some track record, while we have the bulk of the SBA funds and other CEDC loan funds to assist emerging startups and small growing businesses that may not have the ability to get bank financing. We want to be very careful in this market that we are just making this loan to Mario's. We don't want to be in a situation where we're perceived by the banks to be competing with them. And so it is a very select process. We did do a project similar to this for them, as Martha indicated, but we do want to be careful that there's not a perception either by the board or the public or by our partners at the 7 banks in the county that this is something that is we're doing aggressively. It's an occasional select pick, and this is a quick ability for them to expand their racking system and be able to pay it back quickly and move on. But I just want to be sure that we're not making a new entry into commercial lending in any way.
Right, we've always been a lender of last resort. This maybe changes that.
Mike, is there like is it an ad hoc decision, or do we have a procedure for established businesses? What qualifies to, for instance, go through us rather than a commercial bank? Do we have any kind of criterion that we use, or?
I think you're raising a question that we should address and get something in writing and use this as the model for doing that. I think part of it has been in the past. We had discussed if someone needed a $50,000 loan to buy a piece of equipment to keep a job or expand a job, that would kind of be our cap. And I do think we need some policies, and we may want to socialize or circulate those with the bank so that they have a clear understanding of what our plan is and our policy. At the same time, with we're now up to $3.2 million. We have to have some diversity of loans in the portfolio that are not all startups and high risk. And but I think you're right, Rick. For us to have a stated policy will eliminate any back channel criticism or misunderstandings. So Martha and
I support it. I support it. I just, to your point, don't want to tick off the banks.
Yeah.
We depend on.
And I do think that, in a certain respect, Peter just acquired the business from his family. And, it was a succession plan. And I think that, but we do need to put some time and effort into making sure that it's something that doesn't make it seem depends who you are, who shows up, and when you get it. It's got to have a procedure and a policy, and we'll work on that.
And workforce and education did not meet as well. I don't know, Carly, did you have anything more to say on that? No. She's muted. Can you hear us?
I'm sorry, Dave, say that again.
Well, the workforce did not meet. I just wondered if you had anything you wanted to add or say.
Well, we're in summer mode at this moment, but we are applying for a couple of grants through SUNY with respect to workforce. One is for electric vehicle certification for our automotive technology program. And the other is for our building construction technology program, where we want to expand the program to an associate's degree instead of just the certificate that we have now that's a year long. And in doing that, we would be able to offer electric wiring, HVAC, and plumbing. So we're really excited about that. And we're still trying to figure out, the hospital keeps telling us about the great need for LPNs. And while we would love to accommodate that request, the issue is that we don't have enough clinical sites as it is for our nurses. And if we take on LPN, that might be, that would kind of cannibalize in some odd way, our nursing program. But, right now, the State University of New York is completely focused on workforce. And I think if these grants come through for us, we're gonna see some, some improved enrollments, and we're also gonna be able to pump more people into jobs.
Very good, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I think during the strategic planning review, I think we really want to take a close look at what our role is and should be in workforce and education. I think personally it's critical because of the need of businesses right now is related to trained workforce, particularly again with we're back at the lowest unemployment in the state and the lowest number of people out of work, but the highest number of employers looking for people to work. I think we need a seat at the table. I think, we are very strong partners in this through Queststar, through the 6 school superintendents who we're in contact with regularly, certainly with Dr. Drummer and the college and the Workforce New York. And I think, we can be a catalyst along with the chamber, but there's strong leadership now in the county with respect to that. And I think we should be looking at how we complement that and support that and contribute to that, but perhaps revisit what our mission and policy and role is as part of the strategic plan. And therefore, I'm suggesting that we cancel the August workforce committee meeting because again, Jim LePen rolled off the board and was our chair, and that we reevaluate that, and to the extent that the committee continues, then a new chair can be selected, but with clear guidance and direction as to what the purpose of the committee is.
I also, Mr. Chair, I'd like to just thank Mike Tucker for being a speaker at our Board of Trustees and Foundation Board retreat earlier in June. And both of our boards are taking a very active role in what the communities need with respect to workforce. And that's, their strategic approach for the upcoming 2022-2023 academic year. So Mike delivered an enormous amount of information. And I always say that a meeting is a success when people are still talking about it 2 and 3 days later. So the retreat was on a Saturday, and the following week I kept hearing people talking about it. I was getting emails from the trustees, emails from the foundation board about what Mike had shared. And overall, it was just terrific having him there. He was kind of like bookending with Chris Nardone, who was our director of Workforce New York. And between the two of them, they opened a lot of people's eyes. And I think that's just terrific. So thank you, Mike.
Well, thank you very much. And Chris is a great partner. And I think one of the reasons why we want to figure out, how we all fit into the puzzle so that we can continue the strong partnerships. And it was very enlightening to me as well. And it was always good to get a Cascade lunch. So thank you.
Any public comment? John Brown?
Yeah, my name's John Bro. I'm with the 2 committees with the town of Chatham. One is the Finance and Planning Committee. And I thought, Mike, your presentation was fantastic in terms of going over the, you see me going over the budget. And just for the board, I had the idea that maybe you want to have a bank representative on your board. I don't know if that's a conflict of interest. Yeah, just an idea on that. And the reason that I'm here is that I'm on the Finance and Planning Committee and the grant, called the Grant Appropriations Committee, and we know nothing about grants. And so you have done a great job. I read over your website, and it sounds like we should try to get you or representatives from your organization together with our grant committee, which is very energized now, but we just began, so that the hard work hasn't begun. So everything sounds great. There's like tons of resources here, and I really like the idea that you're like a fee organization, so you get revenue in, so you're kind of driven on I don't know, almost like a profit motive, and that you facilitate or leverage. And that's exactly what, in terms of leverage that we need. So, great, keep up the great work.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I wish everyone that came to make public comments was as kind and gracious as you were.
Okay, being no other business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second,
Second.
carry. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Have a great 4th of July, and thank you for accommodating my schedule. We left early so we wouldn't miss the birth, and now we're away.
Dylan here.